Thank you for joining IFAS Extension. Today we have wonderful things happening, as we do in many of our adventures, but this adventure is going to take us into holiday spirit and cheer. So we're going to look at some things that you can make as gifts for the holidays, because lots of times we have little things that we want to give to people as a really thoughtful thank you for what they might have done for us. And these are some ideas that you can use to give thanks to others. So today with me, I have two very special guests. I have Dale Galliano, one of our St. Lucie County Master Gardeners, who's extremely creative. And then I have also our coordinator of all the Master Gardeners here in St. Lucie County, Kay O'Neill, who's equally as creative and very appreciative of Dale's many talents.
Yes.
So thank you, ladies, for joining me.
Thank you for inviting us.
Oh, good. Well, I know we have lots of ideas out there, and you've brought lots of ideas to share with us. And I know lots of times my favorite thing is, of course, food. That's where I like to go start with. So, and I see that all the food is kind of gathered in my little corner here. So if we could kind of maybe start with food, and I see we have a layered jar full of brightly colored M&Ms and some oatmeal. It looks like some chocolate, which of course is everyone's favorite. So can you tell me a little bit about this layered item here?
Sure. It's what you can do is you can get a mason jar. We chose to pick a large one so it would make many cookies, and it's a holiday cookie. So you can give it as a gift. You know, there's the flour and the sugar and the M&Ms and chocolate chips and all the good things in there, and you give that as a gift. So it's kind of a one-shot deal.
So it's kind of like, and then you give them, I see there's a recipe attached.
There is a recipe attached, and you can make that festive and just write the directions on there. So it's sort of a no-brainer. Anyone can pretty much make it, and it's a colorful, flavorful gift.
So you could take like it looks like maybe they might have used a card that was an old Christmas card, and then on the other side perhaps wrote...
Recycle it.
Very good, very good.
Exactly right. And there's other ways of doing that, right, Dale? There's some other things
there are
you can
some
make.
savory jars that you can do also, like a pasta fazool, a good soup, where you put in the beans and the pasta and all the flavorings and that sort of thing. So there's a number of them that you could even do in a slow cooker. Start it in the morning when you're leaving for work, and you have a fabulous meal by the time you get home. And it's kind of nice because it's a one-shot deal, and it's just very minimal adding to it. And it's regular pantry things that you can
that you would normally have on hand.
You normally have anyway, so it's nothing. But it's a nice gift.
Yeah, it is. It's very colorful. This one here is, anyways.
Yeah.
It's very, and of course the beans would be too. You could use different colors.
Exactly, kidney beans or the pintos and all these different ones. They're quite fun.
Yeah, they even have red and green lentils.
Oh yes, that's true.
Yeah, that would be really
very
cool.
festive.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I know you have different size jars here too. So, and some of them look like they've come from something else.
Well, we love to recycle also, especially if you're doing different projects at home. Not always are you at the ready to start running out and getting sealer jars or that sort of thing. But if you have a nice jar that you like, you can put different things like sugars, flavored sugars, or flavored salts or seasonings.
Oh, make your own seasoning.
Make your own. It has such wonderful things now that we all have in our garden, from mints that are pineapple mint and chocolate mint. So you layer that with sugar in your pantry for a little bit, and it's wonderful in tea. If you have a tea drinker in your family, you can give that, or to the baker. Any baker would love. Put it in your cookies, right? Put it on your cookies, or if you make cinnamon rolls and you just sprinkle a little bit of orange mint on top before you cook it, it makes a nice crust.
Sounds
and very
wonderful.
different. So those are
we
nice
should have eaten
things.
before we started this segment, right?
There you go.
Yeah. So those little jars that you might have that you've gotten from
you
something
can fill
else
them up with that,
perfect.
and salts also. One of the nice things about the salts is that you can use your own herbs that you have in the garden. I do suggest that you try and taste your concoctions before you start mixing it up, and one of the easiest ways is to take the different herbs, put it into a warm cup of water, let it steep for a little bit, smell it, taste it, and if it's a nice flavor and it doesn't have a back taste, because sometimes the herbs don't really work together, they're not meant to, maybe, or then you start again, and then throw that out, start anew, and only use the dried or fresh herbs within the salts or sugars, so you kind of know what you're getting ahead of time.
So you can use fresh or dried herbs with the sugars, and then you put the fresh and dry herbs in with the sugar in a container, not the one you're probably going to use as a gift, right? put a different one, and then you said you store it for about a month or so?
Well, I actually, it sort of, if you, the smaller the jar, the faster it works.
Okay, so you can put it right in that jar.
Sure, you can do it right now, and within a week or two, you'd have enough, and it gets better as
time goes on.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay, you can use this gift at Christmas or later.
Yes, yes.
That's that wait until Christmas to open me kind of thing. Yeah,
really.
Okay.
Like
so
some of your pickles and things.
Yeah, yeah. And I noticed you have some pickles here in our nice little red container, and we have pickles here, and it looks like it's got some herbs in there with it.
Yeah, there's two different types of pickles that we brought today. The one with the in the red top is what we call refrigerator pickles. And that's something if you don't want to do the warm bath and you want to make them sort of quickly.
I see.
And it has lots of fresh dill and garlic and peppercorns in there and white vinegar. The only thing with that one is you need to consume that within a month because of the fresh garlic in there. You don't want to leave that out. You have to keep it in the refrigerator and consume it within 1 month.
Okay.
But the other ones, Dale, I think you made those, right?
Yes, and that requires a water bath. That's for a proper seal, then you can just put them in your pantry and they'll last for a year or two or however.
Well, like you would can other things.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have the pickles, there's also a jam there.
And that's cooked the same way, the water bath?
Exactly. And most of, all home economic sites and that with the extension will give you information of how much time is required for whatever product that you are cooking.
Okay. Well, and I know I used to love it when my mom would make jams and jellies, and she would do applesauce, all kinds of things that she would can, and you'd be in the kitchen and then you'd hear this pop, 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 because they were sealing down.
They were sealing down, exactly.
The rubber, so yeah.
That's kind of the indicator of that when it's done.
So, and you mentioned the garlic. So garlic is one of those things that we have to be very careful of when we're using it in preserves.
Exactly, in preserves, and then if we want to make the oils and vinegars for friends, as far as your salad eaters or whatever, we sort of suggest not to use fresh garlic. It has an enzyme in it that can create botulism.
Oh.
Now, when you buy your garlic oils at the store, they've already been treated and heated and pasteurized through a process that you don't have to worry about. But at home, the conditions are very, good for that to happen.
Sure, we live in Florida, it's very humid.
Exactly. So we're better off not using the fresh garlic in the oils, vinegars, or that sort of thing.
Okay. So if we were to use that product, we would get something that's already been
exactly, and then
put
it into your own container if you want. If you have a fun container, it's always nice. You can transfer things into anything you want. Something maybe that the kids painted.
Yeah,
we have
a ceramic vessel here.
Yes, that was actually given to me many years ago by a friend, and it had a homemade vinegar in it. And subsequently, I've
reused it
again and again. So it's kind of fun. So you can buy an oil or a vinegar even if you don't want to go to the time of making your own, but it's easy enough. You have all the different bottles and jars that you can save or use.
And that would be the same thing where you would actually taste the herbs before you mix them in together with
same process.
Yeah, same. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed that our other side here we have some plant materials, and those in a beautifully decorated pot. So tell us a little bit about maybe some of these gift ideas.
Well, it's always having wonderful things that you can give people that are cleaning the air and looking wonderful. The main plant up here is a wonderful plant that helps within the house, takes low light, takes low care, but will clean your air, which is wonderful. And you can put it in a simple little pot that it is in now, or you can have a big fancy pot, put maybe a couple or a bigger plant in there, and so they have a nice ornament that they can keep within the house, whether it's on the floor or on a table.
And that's a snake plant, I believe.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I know that's one that is great for indoors, but we always recommend people not to plant it outdoors because it can become invasive.
Correct.
Very much so. I think the evergreen plant also is another good air filtration plant, the one that Nassau did.
Yes. There's several that, in fact, we have them on our website at the office. There's a list of them that people can use in their home, and that you're right, they make a great gift. It's what better idea than to give somebody a gift that will help with their health.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then I know you have a lovely topiary as well that you've brought.
Yeah, that was created by one of our master gardeners. you take succulent plants, you know, cut them off little cuttings from the main plant, and she sort of recycled this, what I would consider like a candle or a hurricane lantern.
Yeah, it looks like a lantern, yeah.
Yeah, so
I see it has a door on it as well, so I guess that's how you have to have something like that to
take care of it. If you're going to use that sort of container to use it in, it looks really pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, it would go...
Certainly lets a lot of light in.
It does. And, you know, she has some moss down there. And the way to take care of it is, you know, you wouldn't necessarily water it. You just sort of get a spray bottle and spritz it, just so that it keeps hydrated. That's very low care. It looks really pretty.
It does look like it's got rock at the bottom.
It has little pebbles in the bottom, and you can put
Is that kind of for drainage, maybe?
Yes. And also to make it look nice.
Then it looks nice, right?
Pretty.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Makes it look very natural, like it was
Yes.
a little outdoor garden. I mean, a lot of people are really into the fairy gardens.
Right.
Exactly.
And things of that nature. So that would lend itself very well to
Yeah.
that.
This is also perfect for the person that says they have a brown thumb.
Right.
True.
Right.
Because
Yes.
yeah, because all you have to do is spritz it. And the thing I like about it is it has many uses. Centerpiece, it can be, you know, put on a shelf. You know, it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving. It's not just around the holidays. It's just sort of, you know, and beyond.
So if you were to get one of these as a gift, because I know a lot of people, you're saying just mist it and stuff. What happens when the things get too big? You know, are they going to get too big? Are the plants going to outgrow that container?
I think that it's pretty slow growing, and then you can always transfer it into something bigger, and then eventually you might want to take those pieces and plant them.
So some pieces might grow faster than others.
Yes.
And some might have babies. You could take the bigger ones out, leave the babies maybe, or
cut
something like
those off
that.
and then transplant them, and then you have many plants.
I guess that's kind of the same thing for the other plants that the snake plant that you brought. It will get bigger.
Correct.
Right?
But that one, again, just as a reminder, you do not plant that outside. Keep that inside.
So when it gets too big for your pot, go to a bigger pot. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Not put it outside.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. So some of the herbs that we can use, tell us some of the herbs you think are best for cooking and putting into gifts.
Well, rosemary is a wonderful one, and a lot of times what's nice too, you can give an oil or a vinegar or any of those types of things and put it into the actual plant in with the gift. They're very wonderful. Then they can put them in the garden or keep them in a pot, but you make like an entire gift with oils and vinegars and salts and sugars, and throw in one of the cookie jar things and put in an herb. Rosemary is good, oregano, basil, all these things. You can also add seeds and things.
So they can grow their own herbs.
Exactly.
You know, right from seed.
Yeah, and it's always nice to sit down. They have all these wonderful templates that you can put on, get on the computer, that you can put in all kinds of instructions and recipes. And I believe, Kate, we have on the Master Gardener
The website.
the website. We have different combos and recipes on there that people can go in and check out what sort of the tried and true and the different combos that we have already available for them to take a test.
Well, I know we also have, I think, on the site, because you mentioned succulents, there's some information on how to do a succulent garden on there.
Yes.
As well as, I believe there's information on how to decorate pots, like
decorating pots and different ways that you can use succulents to create, you know, many different things to give.
Good. Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to look at some other great gifts you can make.
Oh, listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun?
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us at IFAS Extension. And our adventure today is taking us into creating Christmas gifts. So we're looking at different holiday ideas that we have. And we have our guest today is Dale Galliano and Kate O'Neill.
Hi.
So we're back here to talk a little bit more about some of these great ideas that you guys have. And I noticed that I have lots of little critters near me. And they're a little different looking than you would normally see them. I do see one that's still together. So can you tell me a little bit of how you've created these little critters and how neat they are?
Sure. As you know, we have a lot of pine cones in this area, and it's always, what can I do with them? And a lot of times we make little ornaments, we spray glue and put glitter on them. Well, this is a little bit of a different idea, and I think it's really creative, especially if you see the snowman one and the pink stuffed animal one.
Yeah, there's like a monkey.
Yeah.
A pink monkey, and then this guy here.
Yeah, I think those are really creative when you have children. This way, you can go to one of the stores and buy one of these stuffed animals that you have in your hand right there for a very...
Looks like a little cookie.
That was like a gingerbread man.
Gingerbread man,
yeah.
okay.
And you can get them very reasonably. And what you do is, I hate to say it, but you sort of decapitate him. So you chop his head off.
Looks like you chop the head off and maybe the legs and the arms.
And the arms. And then, unfortunately, the torso, it gets thrown out.
Okay.
And you replace it with the pine cone. Okay. And you just hot glue gun, glue
hot
it
glue
on.
guns are wonderful, aren't they?
They are. And I think it's really pretty much anyone can do that. And you can add maybe a little bit of ribbon to it, or some type of string, and then you can hang it on the tree, or you can set it on your table or the counter. And I just think it's a really creative gift using nature as well.
Yeah,
and it's
integrating the two together.
Yeah, and there's another one there. There's like a little lion, and you can add a little bit of the garland, and
right.
So it's sort of a little different concept with that one.
And you can see the hook that's been made there for that to hang as an ornament
on the tree.
Yeah.
And then there's another one there.
Oh, we have a snowman.
And that's an actual existing ornament.
Okay.
So it was original ornament.
All right. And then we've just glued it on top.
Glue it to the base. Maybe add some kind of, fake snow effect.
Looks like it's a cotton ball, maybe.
Yeah, or anything you want. I mean, just be creative. Throw some glitter on there. Anything. It's all about maybe get the kids involved and make it with you. And then it's homemade, but it looks really cute.
Yeah.
And you can maybe give that as, to grandparents or friends or neighbors or something like that.
Sure. It's a great idea to work with kids. It's good for kids to have ideas like that.
Yes,
Be creative.
and they made it. And then another idea, if you want to, perhaps you're having, you're making a meal and you want to make maybe a centerpiece, you can take natural leaves that we have here on the table. We have a big gold magnolia leaf.
So you spray painted the leaf gold.
Spray paint the leaf gold, and then you get those, I don't know if you know those, like little bamboo skewers that maybe you make kebabs for the barbecue.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You get those and you just maybe wrap it in some florist tape or paint it, and then you attach it to that, and then you can sort of stick it into a centerpiece. And there's so many different things you can use. That's a magnolia leaf, a magnolia seed pod, and we added some glittery things to it.
So you can add just little beads in the little open areas that the seeds would normally, because the seeds are normally red.
Right.
So you just put those in there. That's really quite clever. So you could do that, and you could take a plant that you've got already and stick those in.
Why not?
Yeah.
And then this looked like pine straw.
Yeah, the needles from pine
little
tree.
needles.
Yeah.
So you get those, and you can put some glue on it and glitter, and it's all about being creative. And then this is one of these, unfortunately, one of those invasive, the African snails that are invasive. But
that eat the stucco off your home.
Right.
Or
Literally.
supposedly.
So, let's put it to good use. It got sprayed, and then you can just add some creative holiday ideas into it. Some, glittery, shiny things.
Things like that. Holidays seem to be glittery and shiny, right? Or we like that kind of.
Right.
Love the
And we
bling.
like it when we can blend nature in there with it as well.
Exactly right.
Very
And
good.
it's very inexpensive.
Nice ideas. Those are really cute ideas. I like the idea of working with kids.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Now, Dale, you've got some different containers here that you've got to show us.
Well, yes, and we also have a little project that is kind of fun to do also. These are pot lifts, and which is really quite simple. As you can see,
there's our pot.
There's our pot, and here's these little lifts. Now, these were made in a egg carton.
Oh, okay.
Now, I painted them different colors as far as just to let you know they paint well and that, and you can have the kids paint them and decorate them. But we all have pots on the deck that go flush, but we also would like to be able to lift them just enough so that we can get a hose underneath it, so we're not collecting who knows what under there.
Right. Well, I guess good air circulation better.
Excellent air circulation.
Good drainage.
All of the above.
Yeah,
So a lot of times you
okay.
have a hole at the bottom of the pot, but then you put it on something and you can't get the drainage out. So this is a perfect example. I've also done them in a tomato carton that I got from tomatoes. But so long as they will make their own level. This is not bag concrete. You don't have to go out and get a 40-pound bag of concrete.
That's good.
To make a few little pot lifts. Even if it's as simple, they have two simple things that you can get in small containers. One is concrete patch. It's in already a bottle that you add water, shake it up, put it into the little container, fine. Another thing is concrete anchoring, and it comes again in a small box, mixed with water, and then you automatically have it that you can do as much or as little as you like. But they're fun. The kids can make a project out of it because both the concrete patch and the anchor, they dry within, that you can start working on them. They dry within 15 minutes to a half hour. You're not having
That's
to
great.
Let it
wait
sit overnight
2 days or whatever to do it.
Right.
So it's a fast project. And it's a nice one in order to give anybody that has pots on their deck or outside or that
Or
sort
give
of
them
thing.
the little containers with the pot.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
The little feeder or the...
And it's fun, especially, you know, not for nothing, when you have an egg carton, you get a lot of them there, so you can really do quite a bit.
a few at one time.
Yes, and have fun. And you can put sparkles in that. Kids can really have a good time doing that. It's a fun
it's
thing.
depending on whether you would like glitter all over the house
Exactly.
or not.
Different ones, you know, bling is important, but not when you gotta
Not when
clean
you
it
got to
up.
vacuum and clean it all up, right? Yeah.
Then we also have here a pot that I painted, and in it we've put pruners, trowels, there's a little herb book, there's some plant tags that we've recycled from blinds, window blinds, a pair of gloves, that sort of thing. So this is like for a good gardener, and I know anytime everybody asks me what I want for Christmas, I always say new pruners. So you can always put that sort of thing, gloves, pruners, extra little book or something, but it's all in one little pot for the gardener. The other little pails are kind of interesting, and that's kind of a New Year thing, or new thing this year. They're for compost or for a garden. That if you have vegetables or if you go out for flowers, you have a nice little bucket, but it's pretty. You have
nicer than just a plain old bucket.
Well, you can keep it on the counter, and it doesn't look like you have the slop pail on the counter type thing or whatever. But they're kind of fun things to have, and most gardeners are cooks. And you can also fill those up with different little things, whether it be like what we discussed before, the oils and vinegars and that sort of thing. You can put those in as an additional part of the gift. So
that's a really neat idea. So now when you do some of these pots that you've got there, like the blue one and the plastic ones, do you put a base coat on there
I don't really. Sometimes I put a base coat, but a lot of times it just has to be clean.
Okay.
So it's taking alcohol on a swab or whatever,
like a rubbing
in a cloth,
alcohol,
and putting that, doing it a number of times so that you get any type of oil that maybe you had on your hands or whatever off. Then it's a matter
and that's
of
the same thing
it.
for the plastic as well as
Yes,
the clay?
very much so on the plastic. Like when I do the big rain barrels that I've done through the years, I use a lot of
rubbing alcohol.
a lot of rubbing alcohol, but it's to strip any types of oils off of it. Then you paint it, and then of course it's the top coating that's important that you.
Now, when you say the top coating,
seal
so on that pot that you've got right there, it's blue. So you cleaned it, painted it blue.
Correct.
And then you put on the other colors, the flowers that you've decorated, and then you put another, like a sealer. Is that what you're saying?
I usually put about 3 coats.
Okay.
Because you're dealing with also people hitting it maybe with water. This can go outside.
Okay.
So you can get maybe a good.
And
10
is it
years
a
out of
spray or a paintbrush type
I usually
operation?
start with 1 hit of spray to get an even coat, and then I will sponge it on.
Okay. And
Or
then
you have the
that is just a clear
Clear polyurethane type
polyurethane.
of...
Okay,
Yeah.
that was what I
Yeah.
was wondering. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And you do the same thing on the pails?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly, so that it really adheres.
Uh-huh.
But then once you do that, you do these in particular, even if you do do them now and give them for gifts, that they really shouldn't be banged around too much until that polyurethane really sets. And that takes about 10 days
Oh, okay.
before you know that it's going to adhere and stay. It stays tacky within itself. So.
Okay, so you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you need to refresh that polyurethane over a period of time? I mean, if they, assuming that everything looks as good as it does when you give it to them, that they can re-polyurethane it?
They can. I usually, if it's going to be outdoors, I say once a year. If it's indoors, of course not.
Okay.
But whether it be if you do mailboxes, I've done mailboxes, water cans, all that sort of stuff. Every year or two, I would give it clean it up nicely, and clean it actually with your alcohol, and to take any kind of residue. We wash it, of course, with soap and water, and then do a little alcohol to get any residue off, and then hit it again.
Okay.
It'll last for years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very good. And if we were doing like like you said, on the counter for putting our little pieces of things in there that we would want to compost, right?
Yes.
That's the reason for putting those in there.
Yes.
So then we would start our own compost pile outside, and that. I mean, what's your favorite way of doing that? Do you have a container for that, or do you have a 3-bin system? What's your way of composting?
Well,
I mean, some people just dig a hole and put it in the ground.
well, I have my way of composting is with an old blender.
Ah, okay.
I take my nightly things, put it into a blender, whiz it on up, make a circle or a trench around whatever plant is going to get it that day. Put it in, because I have raccoon problems. So if you have critter problems, you can't have, they'll be dragging it all over. You have to be careful, whatever you're in, whatever your situation is. But a lot of friends have just a regular 3-bin, or just a regular, even a 5, you can do it with a 5-gallon bucket. As far as, or 3 5-gallon buckets, and just sort of rotate them through, so long as you have your green, your brown, and keeping it well circulated as far as that is.
Well, that sounds really good. I know Kate and I met with a gentleman yesterday, and he was saying that he had some problems with raccoons as well, with his garbage, and he has a pool, and they would take the garbage out and then wash it in the pool.
And then eat it.
And then eat it, because they're very clean, but very messy.
Oh, yeah. No, they're so destructive.
That's a good point you bring up, that we should remember that there are lots of wildlife critters out there that we don't want to necessarily be feeding or inviting into our garden.
Exactly.
In the sense of that, it's nice
They
to
may
have
be cute,
them.
but they're still wild.
Yeah,
Right.
it's nice to have them around, but we have to be careful how we introduce them into the landscape.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's another thing to bring up too, because a lot of people are looking for gifts to invite wildlife into their landscape, and some of the gardening ideas we suggested are really good too, and they can always go to our office and check the stuff out there at the office, the demonstration sites, or they could go online and to the Master Gardener's website.
Oh,
correct?
yes.
And find out lots more information there on how to invite wildlife, or how to do some of these creative gifts that you guys have given us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you both very much for sharing
Welcome.
your ideas.
Our pleasure.
Thank you guys for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you again on another Extension Adventure.